Most men spend years trying to understand women, chasing the perfect formula, repeating the same patterns, and yet many of them never notice the quiet, invisible mistakes they keep making, not because they are weak, not because they are foolish, but because they are smart, and their intelligence sometimes turns against them. What if the very qualities that make you a strong, intelligent man are the same reasons why your relationships don't work? What if logic blinds you from something deeper, something Stoicism has understood for centuries? It always starts quietly. A smart man meets a woman and he's confident. He's clear, structured, calm. He believes this is what women want: strength, stability, control. And while that's true, what he doesn't see is how he slowly begins to overanalyze, to fix, to predict, to live in his head instead of the moment. This is the first invisible crack. The ancient Stoics understood this well. A wise man doesn't try to control people. He controls only himself. Yet most smart men, when emotions get involved, forget this principle. They try to solve emotions like they solve math problems. But emotions aren't problems, they're storms. They are meant to be felt, not solved. This is where smart men fall first. When she feels something and expresses it chaotically, he tries to bring order. He debates. He explains. He rationalizes. And she feels unheard. You see, women don't fall for how smart you are. They fall for how deeply you can make them feel safe to be themselves. That's the real strength. A Stoic man is not the one who hides his emotions behind a stone wall. He is the one who stands still in the middle of chaos without trying to fix the storm. He allows the storm to exist. And that, paradoxically, makes him unshakable. The second mistake smart men make is expecting the relationship to follow a logical structure. A smart man builds systems, sets goals, plans the future. But relationships are not a chessboard. They're more like a river. They flow, change, twist, and grow. When a man demands structure, when nature demands flow, tension rises. She doesn't feel free anymore. She feels managed, controlled. Even if it's subtle, even if his intentions are good, her feminine energy will resist being caged. She'll start pulling away, and he'll stand there confused, asking himself, "What did I do wrong?" The Stoics would say, "You suffer more in imagination than in reality." A smart man imagines everything should work if he does everything right. But emotions don't obey formulas. Love isn't earned by ticking boxes. Love grows in the space between control and surrender. If you can't flow with her nature, she'll flow away from you. The third mistake is emotional repression. Intelligent men are often trained to be composed, calm, rational. But many confuse Stoicism with emotional numbness. Real Stoicism isn't about killing your feelings. It's about mastering them. If you can't express warmth, presence, and softness, she will never truly feel connected to you. She may admire your mind, but she won't feel your heart. And a woman needs to feel your heart. You might have experienced this. You give her everything logically, security, intelligence, clarity, but somehow she feels distant. Why? Because your energy doesn't touch her emotionally. You live in your head. She lives in the heart. Two different languages. A Stoic man doesn't become a robot. He becomes a rock with fire inside. Calm, but alive. Another mistake many smart men make is overvaluing words and undervaluing energy. They explain, argue, analyze, trying to convince a woman with logic. But attraction, connection, trust, these are not born from clever words. They're born from how you make her feel. You can say all the right things and still lose her if your presence is weak. And you can say very little and win her heart if your energy is grounded and confident. A Stoic man knows actions speak louder than promises. Silence, when it's strong, is more powerful than 1,000 explanations. The fifth mistake is trying to win women like a challenge to be solved. Smart men love puzzles. They love challenges. But a relationship isn't a game to win. It's a space to grow. When a man sees a woman as something to conquer, he loses himself in performance. He stops being authentic. He chases validation, often without realizing it. and she can feel it. A woman can always feel when a man's strength comes from within versus when it's a performance to impress her. The Stoics taught detachment, not from love, but from the outcome. When you let go of needing her, you show up as a man who chooses her, not one who needs her, and that changes everything. Another mistake that breaks many smart men, assuming emotional strength means silence. Real strength is not being a wall, it's being an anchor. Silence without emotional presence is emptiness, but silence with strength is magnetic. When you hold space for her emotions without trying to fix or flee, she feels safe. Safety is not built on perfection. It's built on presence. This is why she may choose a man who is less intelligent but more emotionally available, hey? Because the heart remembers how it feels, not what is said. A critical mistake too many smart men make is believing their value alone is enough. They think, I'm successful, I'm logical, I'm stable. Any woman would be lucky to have me. And yes, these are strong qualities, but love doesn't work like a resume. Women don't fall in love with your achievements. They fall in love with how you make them feel when they're around you. Your achievements may attract them, but your presence is what keeps them. Stoicism teaches us external things are not under our control. You can't make her love you. You can only become the kind of man who doesn't need her love to validate himself. And ironically, when you become that man, love often flows toward you naturally. Another invisible mistake is putting her on a pedestal. Many smart men respect women so much they unconsciously idealize them. They see her as perfect, divine, flawless. But when you put someone on a pedestal, you place yourself beneath them. And no woman can feel true attraction for a man who has surrendered his power. Respect her, but never worship her. See her humanity, not a fantasy. A Stoic man loves with clarity, not with illusions. He doesn't need her to be perfect. He only needs to remain whole himself. Then there's the mistake of arguing for your ego, not for understanding. Intelligent men love debates. They're quick with words, sharp with reasoning. But emotional conversations aren't battles to be won. They're bridges to be built. When you argue to win, you build walls. When you listen to understand, you build connection. And here lies a hidden truth. Most women don't want you to solve the problem. They want you to feel it with them. To say, I hear you, instead of, here's why you're wrong. This small shift can change everything. A Stoic man listens not to reply, but to truly see. The ninth mistake may be the most painful. Forgetting to live your own life fully. Many smart men become so focused on the woman, the relationship, the dynamic, that they slowly lose their center. They orbit around her instead of standing like the sun. And when she feels she's become your center, she loses attraction. Why? Because feminine energy is drawn to masculine purpose, not dependence. Stoicism whispers the same lesson. Focus on what is yours to control. Your mission, your discipline, your presence. When you stand in your power, you don't need to chase. You magnetize. A woman doesn't want to be your entire world. She wants to join a man who already has a world. But let's go deeper. Why do smart men make these mistakes in the first place? Because intelligence can be a double-edged sword. It creates the illusion that everything has an answer, that every problem can be solved if you just think hard enough. But love is not a problem to solve. It's a garden to tend. It needs patience, presence, and the humility to accept that not everything is under your control. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. They said, "He who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior." You don't need to conquer her. You need to master your emotions, your fears, your need for control. This is why a Stoic man is powerful, not because he controls the woman, but because he doesn't need to. He creates peace in himself, and that peace radiates outward. He becomes the calm in the storm, the unshakable ground beneath her waves. Imagine this. Two men stand in front of the same woman. One is brilliant, overthinking, trying to impress, carefully managing every word, trying to control the outcome. The other stands quietly, fully in his power, listening, grounded, detached from results. One chases, one attracts. Which one do you think she'll feel more drawn to? That's the secret smart men miss. Attraction isn't logical. It's energetic, emotional, primal, but here's the good news. You don't need to become someone else. You don't need tricks or manipulation. You just need to return to yourself. To the man who doesn't need permission to stand tall. To the man who doesn't beg for love but gives cowardice from strength. Stoicism isn't about being cold. It's about being unshakable. It's about understanding that emotions exist, but they don't have to control you. It's about loving without attachment, listening without losing yourself, giving without expecting. A woman doesn't need perfection. She needs presence. She doesn't need a superhero. She needs a man who knows who he is, even when the world shakes. Every mistake smart men make with women comes down to one thing. They try to control what is not theirs to control. But once you shift your focus inward, once you master yourself, everything changes. You no longer chase her. You become the man worth chasing.